This little pouch is fast and easy to sew, but the real secret sauce is in the details. I'm using a piece of quilting cotton that is 14.5 centimeters by 33 centimeters. For the tunnel, mark the fabric at 1 centimeter from the edge, and then measuring from that first line, draw a line at 1.5 centimeters. And then measuring from that second line, draw a new line at 1.5 centimeter. Then on that last line, mark a point at 1.5 centimeters from the raw edge and draw in a diagonal line, connecting the point you just drew to the starting point of that previous line. And then repeat this step on both sides of the bag. Then turn the piece of fabric around and repeat all the steps. Now with all the markings in place, cut along the diagonal line and repeat the step on all sides. Once you've made all the cuts, you're ready to press the tunnel. Working on the wrong side of the fabric, first you're going to tuck in that little flap. And while you can absolutely align the raw edges at the top of that little flap with the edge of the piece of fabric, I find you get a much neater result if you angle it in just slightly. So once you fold and press the tunnel, you'll see that the tunnel end falls slightly inward, and so does the raw edge of the fabric, preventing it from poking out of the tunnel opening. But the trick is to not go overboard with that angle at the first step of pressing. Just a little bit goes a long way. But you decide if it's worth it. The fact that I like to nerd over these things doesn't mean that you have to follow my example. For this part, you need to have the right side of the fabric facing you. So the right side of the fabric is up, and we're going to fold the points toward the right side of the fabric. This way they will be encased in the French seam. And then we're going to repeat all these steps on the other side of the bag. So I'm pressing the little flaps at a slight angle whilst working on the inside of the bag. And I don't know why I decided to do the points first, but I switched back to the right side of the fabric to do the little points, press them towards the outside or the right side of the fabric to make sure that they are going to be encased in the French seam. To press the tunnel, I've switched back to the wrong side of the fabric or the inside of the bag. First press at 1 centimeter and then press at 1.5 centimeter. And as you can see, my fabric was quite bouncy because I don't think my iron was hot enough, but a few pins kept everything in place so I could sew and secure the tunnel. Next, I'm going to top stitch the tunnel while working on the inside of the bag. I'm going to try and sew as close to the folded edge as I can. And what I like to do is aim the folded edge of the tunnel to the center of the presser foot and then move my needle slightly to the right. And repeat this step on the other side of the bag. Now that the tunnel is secure, we can sew the French seam. Fold the bag in half with the right side of the fabric on the outside and align the tunnels at the top. And make sure that the little points are all facing the outside of the bag. And then sew about 1/2 centimeter away from the raw edge and repeat that step on both sides. Now, instead of measuring that 1/2 centimeter, I'm just moving the needle all the way to the right and aligning the raw edge to the edge of the presser foot. This is about 1/2 centimeter or a very scant 1/4 inch. And then repeat the step on the other side. You can already see that there's lots of fraying going on. So this next step is really important to get a clean French seam, because otherwise all these fraying threads will be sticking out of the French seam and visible on the right side of the bag. Next, we're going to turn the bag inside out for pressing. And make sure you pay special attention to the corners. I find my bamboo point turner really handy, but you really don't need one. Anything mildly pointy will do. And to get a good fold on that stitch line, it can help to roll the fabric between your fingers before pressing. Alternatively, you can also slide something along the inside of that seam to make sure that it's nicely folded on that stitch line. After pressing, the bag is ready for the second line of stitches. And we're going to sew about 1 centimeter away from that folded edge on the side of the bag. And a quick reminder that you should now be working on the inside of the bag. So that once you are finished sewing the French seam and you turn your bag with the right side out again, all those raw edges should be nicely encased inside the French seam. Now repeat the step on the other side and all the sewing is done. And once you add the drawstrings, it's ready to use as a small reusable gift bag or to store some trinkets in. And if you prefer a little bag with a lining, I have a tutorial for that too.